On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. I honestly couldn't think of a better thumbnail today. Anyways, I've got a lot going on, a lot to talk about. We've got some great video of Trump answering questions about the war, about everything under the sun. Interesting with rumors. There are some very strange rumors. I want to talk about one of them. Normally I kind of ignore them, but this one's just popping up everywhere. And again, people are saying it with confidence, but yet I don't know if the evidence is there yet. So man, there's some weird stuff going on. And it's hard as hell to figure out what's good and what's not good. And frankly, there's a lot of not good. So I don't like, erring on the side. Anyway, all that said, we got a lot to talk about. NTSB reveals excruciating final 3 minutes of this crash that ran into the fire truck, the Air Canada plane. 3 minutes in, basically it runs through all the steps. They had no idea that there was going to be a problem, basically until the plane was almost on the ground, or really is actually just hits the ground. But the flight, they had a chatter going all the way in. It was basically about 28 seconds out. Truck 1 made this radio transmission to the tower. 26 seconds or 2 seconds later, tower acknowledged the radio transmission. 1 second later, Truck 1 requests to cross runway 4. 5 seconds later, tower clears Truck 1 and company to cross runway 4. 1 second later, an electronic 100 enhanced ground proximity warning system call out occurs, meaning the plane is 100 feet above the ground. So the plane's still not on the ground yet, and they have given the go-ahead for this truck to cross runway 4. So 2 seconds after that, Truck 1 reads back to the runway crossing clearance. 14 seconds left, electronic 50 call out. 2 seconds later, 30-second call out. Tower instructs a Frontier Airlines to hold position. Same time. 1 second later, electronic 20 call out occurs. 1 second later, electronic 10 call out occurs. 9 seconds, 1 second later, of course. Tower instructs Truck 1 to stop. 1 second later, sound consistent with airplane landing gear touching down. 2 seconds later, pilot transfers control from one pilot to the other. That I didn't know. I don't know if they help with the braking. Maybe that's what that is. I didn't realize they transferred control right after landing. That seems strange. And then 2 seconds after that, a tower again instructs Truck 1 to stop. And 0 seconds, the recording ends, obviously. So there is some interesting mistakes that were made, it seems. But a lot is happening. They tried to stop the fire truck, and for whatever reason, they weren't hearing it, I guess. We got a bit of a funny cover-up thing going on in England right now. I wanted to get this early on because I think it's funny, kind of, but Starmer, he's saying this phone that this Mendelsohn feller had, there were some texts that were on there supposedly with Epstein and other stuff. Well, apparently that phone has gone missing. It's been stolen. Now, who would have figured? Who would have thunk it? Now, again, England, or Starmer, if you want, just hit up Trump. Just be like, hey, do you have all the records that we had on that phone by chance? We want to see them, because I guarantee we've got them. Just so, in case you needed help, just let me know. Give Trump a call, Ghostbusters. Google and Meta both found guilty about having or designing practices that are addictive and not really warning people.
Contributing.
It's just going to be in the EULA, though. You guys watch. It's just going to be in the EULA. It's going to be that thing. You agree to the new terms, right? And you're screwed. So, but anyways, here's the little bit of news we got from it.
Contributing to her damages. So I realize that figure may not seem large when you're comparing it to the size of these companies, but it is large when you're considering that they're holding them responsible for $3 million in damages to a person who is already dealing with a lot in her life. So to me, it's a resounding verdict, even though the money itself is probably not a check that's going to be all that difficult for these companies to write.
Carrie, it's interesting.
What's funny is that chick spends the next 13 seconds trying to figure out what she's actually going to say. So we're not going to, and then it's cut at that point, which is funny. I'm like, why do you cut it there? Nothing. She says nothing. It's hilarious. Anywho, Pentagon removes press offices from the federal judge. So the judge basically said that, was it New York Times or whatever, that they get their press passes back to be able to walk around the Pentagon, since other people had to sign the agreement, the new agreement, and New York Times wanted to scoot around that with a loophole. And here's what they decided to do. Instead, they said, hell no, we are not letting you do that. And I think he talks about it, yeah.
The Defense Department is changing.
Yeah, you're just telling us what we already know. But they basically said, look, all right, this is fine. Then you're not allowed in there at all. I thought I had them talking about it on camera. Is it here? Oh, maybe it was here. Yeah, it was here. Here it is. This was it. Knew I had it.
Our own civilians who can never be party to leaking. We're setting clear rules at the Pentagon. We're not playing games. We're not allowing everybody to roam around the building. You know, that was the policy before, Peter. If you were a Pentagon reporter, you could just walk around the building. No badge, no escort, no nothing. Walk into offices, talk to anybody. Who knows where there's classified information. We're making the rules more like you might say the White House. Can you roam the White House wherever you want?
Typically not without getting a Secret Service guy up in my grill.
So we're just normalizing it. Yes, you can be in the press area, briefing room, but if you want to move around the building, you're going to have a badge. It's going to be clear. You're going to be escorted when you do so, and we have expectation that you're not soliciting classified or sensitive information. I think the American people see things like that as absolute common sense. The Pentagon press corps can squeal all they want. We're taking these things seriously. They can report. They just need to make sure they're following rules.
This is where a huge number of the leaks were occurring from. And oftentimes just, not even fully secured out stuff. I mean, there's probably discussions that were being had, but these were the people that were just felt free to tell the press because they were sitting right there in front of them while they were working on it or taking a phone call and they're outside listening. Spies is exactly what that is. So that's been ended. Donald Trump, truth this, we're asking for expedited judicial review because they are robbing our country blind. Centers that don't exist are being paid tremendous amounts of money, and yet we have court orders not letting us proceed. They are being protected by our unbelievably corrupt and out-of-control court system. Billions of dollars are being handed over to crooks, and the courts won't let us do anything about it. Again, expedite President Donald J. Trump. And this has to do, obviously, with all the fraud and waste and abuse that's happening. We can't just continue to just give it. We need to figure out quickly how to get it to the people that need it and how to stop the people that don't. And it's going to require access to records. Oh, this is going to be fun. So this is going to be very fun. How it plays out, who knows? From the White House, they did actually get Secretary Mullins sworn in. I don't know if they've got, I guess they just swore him in. I thought this was actual video of it, but that's groovy. Kristi Noem made a post. She said, it has been an honor and privilege to serve as the 8th Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. I want to thank President Trump for entrusting me to lead the department, leading the fight to make America safe again. In 1 year, the Patriots at DHS delivered the most secure border in American history. 3 million illegal aliens have left the U.S., located 145,000 unaccompanied children, delivered disaster relief at a 100% faster rate, ushered in the golden age of travel, saved the American taxpayer $13 billion, and revitalized the U.S. Coast Guard. As Special Envoy for the Shield of Americas, I will build on the years of national security expertise I forged during many times as Secretary of Homeland Security, Governor of South Dakota, and Congresswoman of the House Armed Services Committee. So she's going to continue rocking and rolling, one would say. I want to remind you guys of the bitchin' sale we got going on. I don't know how long this is going to stay, but MyPillow, they hooked us up. There's only like 4 of the content creators that actually ended up high enough on this radar to get this level of treatment. Free shipping on your entire order, first off. Second off, what they've got is a warehouse sale. They're moving warehouses, and they don't want to have to move all the merchandise. So they're trying to basically get rid of it. And this is the time to take advantage of it, especially if you're interested in like the topper. This is the 3-inch topper. This is an awesome topper. They got a really sweet deal going on, starting out at $99.99. I think they're even initially we're offering in 2 pillows, 2 pillowcases. Might still be in there. It probably was. We've also got the Giza Dream Sheets, $29.98. They are normally $39.98 as the sale price. Normally, $59 is kind of the normal. $29. It's like an insane price. This is the high thread count. These are the awesome sheets. You want to get those. They're so beautiful. They're so nice. They start at $29.98, depending on the size of the bed, obviously. But this is the best deal you're going to get on it. Did I mention free shipping? You don't have to pay for the shipping. It's just going to cost you $29.98 plus tax probably, right? The pillow, best pillow ever, $14.98. $14.98. This pillow is incredibly just foof it, and it's right back to how it was normal. And then you sleep on it, and your head just rests on it like it's a It's your mother's lap or something. I don't know. It's better for your neck, though. Your mother's lap wouldn't really be, or your girlfriend's lap. It's probably less gross. Whatever. Talk about steering something in the wrong direction. Six-piece towel set. My Pillow towels are incredible. They're My Towel, I guess is what they call them, and they literally are the best towel you're ever going to use. Seriously, come check it out. MyPillow.com/OTF. MyPillow.com/OTF. Energy drinks are really good, and they're super inexpensive. They were letting people try some of them. Anyway, they got the Rev 7 too. Good stuff. If you want energy drinks, highly recommend it. Again, blankets, duvets, all of that. Mattress pads, they've got everything 25% off of those too. You want to get a nice, good mattress pad on there? Maybe a topper's a little more than you're going for. No, get that new mattress pad. Even shipping on the mattress. They'll ship a mattress to you. Just saying. MyPillow.com/OTF. MyPillow.com/OTF. Get the best night of sleep you have ever had. All right, we got some stuff about ICE. A lot of stuff about ICE. Democrats flip the Florida House district that Mar-a-Lago is in. Kind of a bummer. It was Republican, and then they promoted someone out of there, and it just got flipped Democrat. It just feels sneaky because it's Trump's location, and they're flipping it Democrat. So they got a foothold in there. They got a foothold in there, people. I think we want to play this. Don Fetterman. I don't. I think it's super long.
So on that issue of delayed travel for some of the investigators, Democratic Senator John Fetterman.
Yeah, long story short, Fetterman is like, no, I'm not a part of this airport shutdown nonsense. So he's like, yeah, they got me to vote with them. I'll vote with them. I think the government should not be shut down. I'm totally against it. So he is definitely not standing with the rest of the Republican or the Democrats, I should say. And cheers to him because he's, standing with kind of America, which is really where it should be. Delta used to have this program where politicians got special treatment. They had a special hotline they could call to kind of book stuff and get security taken care of and yada, yada. They're turning that off while the shutdown is happening. Congress no longer gets any special perks with Delta Airlines in this meantime. So good for you, Delta. That's awesome. You love to fly, and it shows. We've got some cool stuff, man. People are literally, ICE agents are making a difference. Even as Trump, I posted at one point, which I don't have, but he posted that this is like allowing ICE to sort of clean up their image a little bit. And very true in that regard. Check out some of this stuff.
I'll take you. Don't be shy. The bathrooms are down that hall. Yeah, this time I'll take it. Thank you so much. Y'all have a big flight. No. 2 hours. 2 hours. Where are y'all heading to today?
Rio.
Rio? Oh, nice. Don't be shy, guys. Down the hall. We'll hold your spot in line, I promise.
How was my question?
No, yeah, if you need to go, seriously, yeah.
No, I'm fine just now. Thank you so much.
I'm going to tackle a punk ass that tries to steal your spot. Love the dude's all tatted up and crazy, scary looking, but he's like, looks like he's a nice guy. But yeah, put a mask on that mug, shoot. There's some, I guess someone said something nice, which is always fun to hear.
You got vodka? Very nice. You got vodka in there?
I wish.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Thank you for the service.
You're happy with ICE?
Yes.
Okay.
I like that. I'm happy for the ICE. Thank you for the service.
Love that. Someone's going to probably beat his ass later on in line. You watch. This guy right here is going to get pissed, turned around. You, what? And which I'm kidding. He shouldn't dislike ICE. But CNN's having to acknowledge that, yeah, people kind of like having ICE around. It's making things work better.
Well, there may be a celebration here at the airport before it's all said and done, especially for the folks who've been working nonstop, extra shifts. If you look right here, you can see this is the main checkpoint. Almost no lines, no waiting, Sarah. It's unbelievable at this point. This morning started briskly with a lot of people showing up here at the airport. Lines were long. People were waiting about an hour. But when that rush hour went away pretty quickly this morning, we ended up with this. And there seems to be more lines open than normal right now with the TSA workers here breezing people through. In fact, a lot of folks have been showing up shocked at how short the lines are. Take a listen to some of the folks we talked to this
Look at that guy transporting a baby.
morning.
I don't see how extra security could be bad, you know. I mean, they're going to help out and, you know, make things move a little faster, but whether they're doing that or not, we don't know. But extra security is always good to me.
I mean, you think it's not going to be that bad, but then you get here and, you know, you think, oh, man, it really is as bad as they say it is.
So there's a bit of a mix here. So when people were showing up and going right into the TSA pre-check line, a lot of them weren't even checking the main checkpoint line. That line has been open and moving pretty quickly. Some folks just get so used to going to the line they go to, they didn't even check to see what that's like. We've also seen those ICE agents moving through today. A lot of folks are saying they're very pleasant. Look, they're not wearing masks. In fact, on this line right here, you can see two of them standing behind the TSA agents. I'm not sure we can get a complete focus on that, but just wanted to show you that they've been walking around the perimeter. Atlanta police have also been added to this equation in terms of showing up extra patrols. But the story right now, Sarah, quite honestly, is the fact that the lines have disappeared. We haven't seen this like in a week. So this is good news. If you have a flight to catch, you should know that you can probably maybe take a deep breath. At one point, this line stretched all the way down the hallway. This one is gone as well. So I guess we'll just give a thumbs up and smile a little bit, Sarah, and take a break.
What I'm actually waiting for is like the TSA union to sue Trump because ICE is doing their jobs, right? We'd rather them work for free, you know, like they're in the back, like acting like they're tough when the dudes that are not getting paid are, you know, I bet most of them right now are like, this is so nice. Like, this is the first time I've seen the end of the line. So yes, what Trump is doing is changing things, and that's good. This was a good little Trump interview talking about what's going on in the opening and closing and whatnot. So check it out.
He said, yes, that'd be in big trouble. It's so crazy. So that would be one. And then we have a few others that we call them the best of Trump. But if you look at transgender mutilization of children, we don't want that. It's the mutilization of children. We don't want that. So generally speaking, I think I can answer that Mark Wayne would be very much in favor of what I'm in favor of. Would you say that's right, Mark? I can't think of too many things. He might be worse. He might be worse than me. That's my look at his wife is saying. That's right. But so yeah, he's going to be great. Yeah.
Do you believe the secretary will run DHS any differently than Kristi Noem did? What do you hope to see as his priorities?
Well, we had a good run. Look, we created the strongest border with the help of that man right there. Tom is so incredible, and he's going to be a big influence here too. There's nobody more professional, nobody better. There's nobody better as a human being. You know, he looks tough, but he's got a good heart, but not too good. Don't make it too good. But you know, we had Tom. We have the safest border we've ever had. We have a lot of assets, but a lot of things we can do, and we're going to do. We have to get criminals out of our country that were allowed in by Biden. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, do you support what appears to be emerging agreement coming out of the Senate to reopen DHS?
Well, I'm going to look at it, and we're going to take a good hard look at it. I want to support Republicans, and, you know, sometimes it's awfully hard to get votes when you have Democrats that don't want to have voter ID. They don't want to have proof of citizenship. They don't want to do anything about men playing in women's sports. That's one of the items we put on, you know. And I did that just because it's so popular. You know, they say that's at least an 80-20 issue. No, it's about a 99-1. I don't think it's, what do you think, Pete? Do you think it's 80-20? Who's closer, 80-20 or 99-1?
Almost 100.
Yeah, I think 100 is really the, so, you know, so I support that, and I support common sense.
Would you be comfortable with a deal that involves separating ICE funding from the DHS funding package in order to reopen?
Well, they're working on all of that. You know, that's a detail that they'll explain later. Please.
Integrity and DHS measures. Mr. President, since CISA falls under DHS, and given that many credible voices have raised concerns over its premature and possibly likely faulty 2020 election assessment, will you and Secretary Mullen implement reforms at CISA and at DHS to ensure full confidence in future elections?
Like in the upcoming. We'll talk about it, you know, pros and cons. Look, they used it to try and put me in prison, right? So I can't be thrilled with it. They used that very strongly, very illegally. The Democrats are thugs. And I don't want to say that. It would be nice to everyone get along, but it's a different country than it was years ago. It was very dangerous the way they used it. And they weaponized government. They used that to weaponize government. So I'm not thrilled, but I'll also go along with two groups of people, the military, and I think the military likes it, right? And I'll go along with the senators. I'm fine. But
yeah, he's going along. He's not doing what everybody wanted to do. He's not letting the deep state control the way things are playing out. Again, the big problem with TSA. They want us to feel the pain so we get behind their cause. What Trump is doing is alleviating the pain so nobody cares about their cause. He's brilliant how he does it. And Musk getting involved, Musk actually pays the people, and this continues on, and Musk actually does do that, which I believe he will. I'm sure there's some stuff that's got to happen to make that happen, but that'll be incredible. And he might even be so cool as to be like, and you guys go ahead and keep it, even after the government pays you back what they owe you. You keep what I gave you because you earned it. That's likely what's going to happen. Those that stay on are going to be heavily rewarded. Now, here's the thing. Can they? Is it easy? No. A lot of renters can get some, they're not going to necessarily get kicked out, but it depends, right? If you got a mortgage, you might be able to get some special help, but yeah, it's not easy, unquestionably. Tom Homan's, he's dropping some stuff. I love this dude.
Are illegal aliens voting? I mean, bottom line is, what are they afraid of? And they say illegal aliens don't vote. Well, look, part of DS's job is secure elections, and I'm not going to say, what our plan is going forward, but if only U.S. citizens can vote, I don't see the issue. What they're concerned about. They ought to be concerned about the safety and security of this nation. And why is the Department of Homeland Security not funded? That's what they need to explain. And look, they can get angry at ICE all they want. You got to remember, they set the stage, right? They baked this pie, right? They 4 years of open borders, 4 years of no immigration enforcement. We had historic illegal immigration on the southern border. They knew it. And the members of Congress stood silent. They're complicit. They didn't do anything to Secretary Mayorkas when he said under oath the border is secure. So they're to blame for this. And what ICE is simply doing is responding to 4 years of open borders and historic illegal migration on the border that brought millions upon millions of people to the border and released the United States. That requires a historic deportation operation. It's just simple math. So they got to remember, why are we in this position? Why is ICE hiring more people? Why was President Trump elected to be the president of the United States and put in the Oval Office? To secure the border and enforce immigration law. That's what we're doing. And they set the stage for the open border for 4 years. They can't forget that.
Yeah, amen to that.
I mean, the right people are in the right places. And again, a lot of the anger towards specific people has been very, very interesting. Very interesting, because most of it's proven to either be wrong or, Trump is rewarding Kristi Noem. A lot of people are like, he fired Kristi Noem. He didn't fire her. That's not true. He didn't fire her. Fired people don't continue working for the organization they got fired from. Do you move people from positions? Yes. Can they step down? Maybe, but that's definitely, arguably not a step down. Step sideways. Senator John Kennedy is revealing the truth about what's going on in the Senate. And I love this dude because he's straightforward. He's telling us the truth and telling it from all sides and all angles. Respectfully even, too. I love this dude.
I know you've been closely involved in these talks. Is this deal falling apart right now, or is there still some hope?
Well, here's the way I see it, Wolf. I try to look at the world as it is, not as I want it to be. Solving this problem through reconciliation, it's clear to me, is going to be very, very difficult. I got up this morning about 5 o'clock. I can read. I can watch TV. I watch the news. Number one, the reason I say it's going to be very hard, number one, the president is against it. I was told, I haven't been in meetings with the president, I was told that he was for it. One senator told me he was even enthusiastic. That's not accurate. He's not for it. Number two, our majority leader is everything. Whoever the majority leader is controls the floor. And based on the comments I've read this morning, our majority leader is not really for it. Number three, my Republican colleagues who are leading the talking filibuster clearly want to continue the talking filibuster, as is their right. Number four, Senator Schumer has changed his mind. Chuck probably has another side to this story, but the whole opening everything up on reconciliation is premised on the suggestion by Democrats that they would open everything up, including TSA, but ICE, and we would have to deal with ICE on our own. Senator Schumer has changed that position. He no longer will open up the rest of the department unless we agree to what he wants to do on ICE. So we're back to square one.
I want to play
That's
Senator.
honestly the way I see it. I wish I didn't have to say that, but that's where we are.
Yeah, it's not a good situation.
No, it sucks balls. Frankly, is what we would say. But with all of that going on, with ICE literally helping, here is Philly DA Larry Krasner literally threatening ICE.
This is how it works. You commit crimes within the jurisdiction that is the city and county of Philadelphia, I prosecute you. That is how it works. No, I don't take a phone call from the president saying let him go. No, the president cannot pardon you. I'll say it again. The president cannot pardon you. And yes, I will put you in handcuffs, and I will put you in a courtroom, and if necessary, I will put you in a jail cell. If you decide to make the terrazzo floor of this airport anything like what you did in the streets of Minneapolis, which involved the criminal homicide of unarmed, innocent people. We are not having that here. But let me go back to all ICE agents who are going to keep their oath, who are going to follow the law and uphold the Constitution of the United States. Thank you for keeping your oath. To any agent who might think about doing it an illegal way, I'll be seeing you in court, and you're not going to like it.
Now, Larry Krasner, I hate to, I'm just going to say something. I mean, this is kind of totally conspiracy stuff, Larry, so don't believe a thing I'm saying. I mean, it was just ridiculous. But there was a story recently that just came out, and they talked about how the CIA was able to put stuff into like Coca-Cola and beer and cigarettes and all sorts of things way back in the 60s that could actually cause people to do certain things, drugs, different pharmaceutics. I might have even tested later than that, even for that matter. But they've learned how to put these things into, drinks, chemicals, all that, into foods, so just specific people can drink them and eat them. Now, what they've happened, and this is some of the new conspiracy stuff with the, the ability for them, CRISPR and all that, where they can make gene editing and all that kind of stuff, and they can actually look at genetic stuff, and they've got 23andMe and all these things where they've got genetic profiles of so many people, and they can just kind of pick and choose who and what kinds of things they want to try to orchestrate issues for. Allergies. It's weird. It's like a lot of that stuff, they can actually make people dislike people like you, Larry Krasner, just start disliking you. And all those ICE agents handing out water, I mean, I just wonder what's in the water. Oh, maybe. All sad. That was just more to mess with him, guys. I don't actually think any of what I said was true. Larry doesn't listen to me. It doesn't matter. Louisville pays Christian photographer $800,000 for a dumbass law. This is one of those things where they're trying to force a photographer to take pictures at a gay wedding, and the photographer's like, I'm not going to do this. No. You have to. I'm going to put you in jail. This is insanity. But what struck me is Louisville is in Kentucky. Kentucky. What happened to you? Neil Diamond wrote a song about your ladies. What is going on? Apparently, you got to pay this photographer $800,000 because you all sued her or made her sue you, and you lost because you were on the wrong side of that. I don't know. A lot of people live in New York. A lot of people are into this, so whole ridiculousness certainly fits all the above molds. This just adds levels of sickness on top of sickness. So they're feasting on the corpse of companies. And just to understand this, anybody that's ever worked in any sort of part-time job, you get hired part-time. What does that mean? That means I'm going to work you when I can, or when I have availability, or when I need you. You cool with that? And you're like, yeah, totally. I need money, whatever. I'll work around it. So anybody that doesn't get a regular schedule that they can plan on is apparently able to be sued. Meaning if I make you work Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 week, and then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday the next week, that's not cool. And again, I get it, how it's nice to have a standard schedule, 100% agree, especially when you got childcare and everything else. I know, I understand all the arguments. You're 100% right. They should tell you up front your schedule's random. If they tell you up front that your schedule will be the same time, same day, and you explain to them you have childcare issues, okay, I can see a lawsuit there. But outside of that, because that's when the employers be like, I don't know if this is going to be a good fit for us. Because I need you to be able to kind of run around, if you will. Needless to say, communism in action. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Let's see if I can get this to start over. Nope. Oh, I get to hear that twice. Yay. I'm going to edit that shit out. Let's try this again, though.
We're at the City Hall.
We're at the Taco Bell.
We're at the combination City Hall and Taco Bell. And I'm here today with our incredible Commissioner Levine of DCWP to announce some very exciting news. What do we have to tell people today?
Yeah, so more than 800 New York City workers are going to get checks, or they're going to get money deposited in their account. Today we're announcing 3 different enforcement actions from DCWP. One of them is against Dunkin' Donuts and Taco Bell for not giving workers predictable schedules. One of them is against Theory, the retailer, same issue, not giving workers the schedules that they can predict, plan their lives around. And the third is a lawsuit we're filing against a franchisee in Staten Island, Dunkin' Donuts franchisee, also not giving the workers predictable schedules or protected time off.
So how much money are we talking about that you're announcing in settlement today?
Yeah, so we're talking about almost $2 million back to workers, mostly fast food workers, more than 800 of them across New York City, and also a lawsuit against Dunkin' franchisees to get more money back.
So now before we get a little bit more into this, I think it's only fair that we should try some of the food on offer at City Hall's first ever mukbang. Here we are. Where are you going to start with?
Well, I have this Crunchwrap Supreme has been calling my name.
Okay.
This is great. New York's good for on the go, easy to eat. Okay. See, it's a pretty big one. I'm going to give it a try.
Please.
All right.
Here we go.
I don't want to be like that McDonald's CEO, you know? It's pretty good, though.
Pretty good.
No disrespect for homo people, but fucking homo.
I'm also going to go for the Crunchwrap Supreme.
I mean, look, for the first lunch we've been able to sit down to in weeks, it's filling, got some cheese in there.
Here we go.
Is it just me or does he scream gay? He screams gay to me.
7 out of 10? 8 out of 10?
I mean, I'm eating more. I'm going to upgrade it to an 8 out of 10 with Crunchwrap Supreme.
Thank you to the workers who made this.
Thank you to not the franchisees who broke the law, but the workers who made the Crunchwrap Supreme. You did supremely well.
There's like layers of disgust and hatred, I feel like, baked into that video. So yes, that was message was approved by Mom Donnie and all of his craziness. Obviously, there was no pork in that product. Washington felon was just arrested. High-speed chase. Thurston County deputies. I feel like it's like, wasn't that the third? What's the Lovies in the millionaire's name? I feel like it's close to that. It wasn't Thurston though. Anyway, yeah, it might come to me before, but we'll see. So don't email me yet. Give me a second. Suspects fled moments before law enforcement switched on their lights. They reached 100 miles an hour and were chasing them. Anyway, long story short, they broke away. They got away. Canines got involved at some point. Located two suspects. Right? And then they walked through the neighborhood. Right? Both suspects were taken into custody at gunpoint. Put it down. Put it down. Girl, female turned over. Centralia PD for organized retail theft. A search warrant was obtained for the truck, which had thousands of dollars of stolen merchandise from numerous businesses inside. Additionally, the suspect had a custom bong device. For those of you who don't know what a bong is, it's a water pipe, because that's what you were supposed to call it when you actually walked into a head shop and you're like, hey, you got any bongs? They kicked your ass out. Be like, do you have any of them gurgling water pipes? Anyway, they convicted this guy of all the stuff he did, right? DUI and all that fun stuff. Just assumed he was high. Driver had 4-time convicted felon for numerous theft. Had 27 misdemeanor convictions and 97 prior arrests. This guy, doing a racket, high-speed chase, arrested 97 times. Damn. You don't think at some point you should keep him in jail? It ain't like he's 90. You make it sound like this dude ain't that old. I mean, you don't mention anywhere in here his age. But doing that kind of crazy shit, I don't know. Even if he's 70, shit, still, you've been arrested how many times? Damn. Rep. Chip Roy introduces Career Criminal Accountability Act. Seems to be targeting people like what I just mentioned. We'll see what happens. California mayor says state leaders protect child trafficking by migrants. This is disturbing. Very disturbing. So last week, Wells, I guess, a Republican, sent a letter to AG Bonta about the 2018 Sanctuary City Law, SB 54, and asked Bonta if the city police officers could conduct more welfare checks on unaccompanied children using information provided by federal authorities. Okay, we got kids that are just not showing up anymore on the radar that are unaccompanied children. And his answer back was, and she says, she continues, the answer should have been yes. Bonta wrote on an op-ed on Fox News. Instead, the Attorney General's office warned that even confirming a child's location to federal officials could violate SB 54, meaning you can't do a welfare check to see if they're even there and not being abused. That would break the law if you checked. This is California law. They took our elections from us long ago. They tell us one thing, we go and vote to probably most of us overwhelmingly no on whatever they're trying to pass, and they're like, yeah, everyone voted yes. It was weird how it broke down. These guys cheat. What's this? Yeah, it's disgusting. Disgusting. California's mass in-person election fraud crimes are even caught on camera. James O'Keefe put a bunch of recordings out. People are disenfranchised. There's major stuff happening. He's going to keep putting the pressure on. He's just got so much stuff. I mean, 20 minutes in here, too. Just 20 minutes right here. I mean, we could, oh, my Lord. So much stuff. It's gurgling up, folks, before the election. Look at that. It's March 25th, and it's happening, right? Two Republicans currently lead California's governor's race. The gubernator. There's two of them. It is Republican, the hotel chain. What the hell's his name? And then we got Bianco. Hilton. There it is. Steve Hilton. Good Lord. Yeah, I don't like either choice, frankly, at this point. I loved Chad Bianco until he said he wanted to give everyone residency. No. And you're appealing to people that obviously are going to vote for you illegally. I get that, but you're not appealing to anybody that's like, make America great again. That's for sure. And right now our state's in huge debt because we've got a lot of people here that are sucking off the teat that don't actually deserve to or shouldn't be. Steve Hilton, I don't trust because he's a friggin' Hilton. And he was on Fox News for a bunch of years. I just don't trust him. He's got too many red flags against him. He's got such a high bar to meet. And he's not even from this country. Doesn't he have a British accent or whatever the shit? Get out of here. No. I don't like that fucker at all. So anyway, the Democrat one sucks. So no, hey, vote for one of these guys. Both of them, right? Love them. But it sucks balls. Trump put some stuff out for people in Indiana. I don't know. It feels like it matters these days because we lost that one in Florida. I feel like I maybe should have mentioned. I didn't see it, so I don't know. It's not totally my fault, but damn it. God, it sucks losing one we shouldn't lose. So Indiana's District 41, Trump came in and gave Michelle Davis a big giant boost because Greg Walker's a pile of trash. So Michelle Davis, Indiana. I'm just going to say the one you should vote. The one that Trump's promoting. You guys vote however you want. But SD 41, Michelle Davis, big time. Indiana SD 39, Jeff Ellington. We've got SD 38. And again, these are all South Dakota. It's got to be. It better be. It's all Senate District. I got you. Indiana's Senate District. Okay. Whatever. 59% are saying Brenda Wilson, and that's what Trump went for. So, yeah, Brenda Wilson for District 38. Sorry, I'm retarded. 23 District 23 is Paula Copenhaver. We got District 21, Tracy Powell is who you want. District 19, Blake Feichter? Feichter? F-I-E-C-H-T-E-R. Feichter? Okay. Blake Feichter. Ouch. That's going to be fun. Yeah, Jim Jones, Daryl Schmidt, Greg Byrne, Chris Garton, Randy Maxwell. I hope to God we got to own these elections, guys. Jeff Ratz, this is 27th district. I should say the district, but Scott Alexander's 26th district. Oh, there's so many. 25th district, Mike Gaskill. I always start doubting myself when I do this. 22nd district, Ron Alting. 15th district, Liz Brown. 14th district, Tyler Johnson. 6th, Florida now? Fuck. Florida. You guys got to do the Sidney Grutters for the 16th district. Oh, thank God there's not more. We're going to stop looking right there before we find more. That'll suck. Vast majority agree that ballots should be received on election day. We'll see. I have little faith in the Supreme Court, though some cool things are happening, but that tariff thing really sucked. That call really sucked. That was just a bad call. I don't know what happened there. I'd love to understand better why they did that, but okay. Maybe it was a good thing. Maybe there's some reason why it makes sense. Supreme Court hearing arguments on this mail-in Mississippi ballot. We've talked about it a bunch, so we'll see where we get to from there. Yeah, this stupid... I'm going to play this, I guess. I don't know who this chick is, but yeah, the bridge for Baltimore, the Keys, Francis Scott Keys Bridge, they're still tearing it down. They haven't even started building it.
2 years later, and Baltimore is still rebuilding after the Key Bridge collapse. Today, Governor Wes Moore is touring the Port of Baltimore, sharing an update as crews continue tearing down what's left of the old bridge. The new bridge not expected to open until 2030, and the cost has more than doubled, up to over $5 billion. State leaders say rising costs and stricter safety standards are driving the delays, especially with massive cargo ships moving through the port every day. But there's growing concern in Washington over the timeline and the price tag, even after a federal funding deal was secured. Meanwhile, Maryland is still suing the company behind the ship that caused the collapse. Thursday marks 2 years since the tragedy, and the rebuild is far from over.
When does it just become cheaper to just build a tunnel underneath the water? I mean, right? That's almost got to start looking like a better deal. And I understand they can leak, but I assume we can make something that's freaking waterproof. Oh, shit. Oh, that was funny. But yeah, I forgot they had pictures that Trump, after going to Graceland, changed the dress code. So it showed Vance and Marco Rubio sitting on the couch, both wearing like Elvis clothes. It was pretty funny. Rick Scott sues Booz Allen Hamilton over their leaked tax returns, same kind of stuff that they did to Trump and other conservative people. So yeah, these guys are getting sued. I don't think Booz was in the leakage of Trump's tax returns. I believe that was the IRS and some other stuff, but yeah, still, nonetheless, not good. House Intel, they're apparently sending Brennan docs to the DOJ. They're going to, let these make it through. These transcripts are going to be released publicly. I think they've got to check them and make sure that there's nothing in there that's dangerous and then be approved. But essentially, these are going to be pushed out. I don't know what all the Congress is going to know that maybe we should have from other places, like FBI or CIA or whatever. Other internal agencies do cool stuff. I'm not sure how to take this story. I don't trust the source, but Pam Bondi, supposedly the DOJ is surrendering to federal courts. I talked about this. This judge is putting in another federal court appointment that should be done by the executive branch. But whatever the case is, they can't, because of blue slip reasons, fill the void. So for right now, I guess, they're going to let the judge put the person in who we're not going to like. They're not going to do what we want. I guess we're going to try to manage this from a different direction, is my guess. Janine Pirro has probably got some ideas. Bondi's probably got some ideas. Blanche... there's a few, even, of course, Holly, not Holly Berry, I want to call her that. What's her name? Alina Hava. Holly Berry, because Alina Hava's hot, and Holly Berry, I was thinking swordfish when she was topless, and oh my lord. Anyways, that was how my mind works. Can't help it, boobies. Yep, what? Huh? Yeah, exactly. That's what happens. Italy's Meloni, a Trump ally, suffered major defeat, I guess, in a referendum. They're coming at everybody hard that's going against the deep state. That's how it works. All said, yeah, she's got a major judicial reform she's championed and was defeated in a national referendum. Again, controlling elections probably still problems, but we're trying to wake up populations. You got to go through these moments, right? You got to ride the monster, if you will. Roberts has been tasked with trying to tame the Supreme Court. And there's a number of cases where it seems to be happening. He was actually getting a little miffed at Sotomayor because she kind of was interrupting after she'd ask a question, and then the person would start answering, and she'd interrupt him. So at one point, Roberts said, "Would you complete your answer?" directing back to them, cutting Sotomayor off. And there was another situation where Sotomayor began to ask questions before she was supposed to, and literally, she was 4 words in. And Justice Roberts says, Justice. And she said, "I'm sorry." And then he said, "Alito." Like, she wasn't in line yet she was running ahead. So he's trying to get control of the court because, yes, nobody has faith in the courts anymore, and Roberts gets it. Now, where everything lines up, whether or not we find out about some of the stuff that most of us, at least the people on the conspiracy side, have an idea that Roberts might have been involved with, whether or not he's playing ball or not, we'll find out, I guess, how much we learn of that, or if Roberts does the right thing. It's hard to say. It's too early to tell. This is definitely a step in the right direction, I feel like. Supreme Court appears to be siding with Trump policy on asylum at the U.S.-Mexico border. They had a lot of discussions around what does it actually mean to arrive, which is some of the verbiage, and they were really just fighting over the verbiage. 1990 Immigration and Nationality Act allows an individual who, quote, arrives in the United States, end quote, to apply for asylum. So they're like, what's arrive mean? If they haven't arrived yet, because I guess they were arguing that if they're at Mexico at the border, like knocking on the door on the outside of your house, that they've arrived at your house. And so they go through all sorts of fun little discussions around that. What is the magic thing that we're saying happens to make it so now if someone arrives in the United States? And Kelsey Cochran, the lawyer representing these people, said the determination is made once an individual is at the threshold of a port of entry, about to step over. And Kavanaugh is like, it seems very artificial trying to figure out at the threshold. Threshold means government will stop you short of the threshold. I think Roberts then said, if you're at the end of a long line, you're not there. You haven't arrived at the turnstile, Roberts is saying. Where else we got? Jackson said, why would his asylum request be discarded, but someone who manages to enter the United States illegally and requests asylum gets their application entertained? So he's even talking about people that quote-unquote arrived, but not legally, snuck in. Metering is not saying you can never enter the U.S., and the only option is to enter illegally, Suri said, I think the lawyer. The U.S. has greater responsibilities to those in the U.S. than those in Mexico. So let's see, who's this? This is Suri also saying this is a tool that the Department of Homeland Security would want in its toolbox. This is an important tool that the government would want. Yes, we want to be able to keep people out. It's long story short. Supreme Court seemed to more or less be on board with all that. Also, the Supreme Court, they ruled for Cox. There was an issue where the Cox cable, Sony's music was being downloaded. They were claiming that Cox knew that there were some offenders that were still getting Cox services, that Cox should have stopped their services. Cox won the case. It's not their job to police that kind of stuff. Sony has all sorts of other vehicles available, especially for specific people, yada, yada. So good stuff there. And let's see, this one was the House Intelligence Committee. Today, the House Permanent Select Committee, on Intelligence, held a business meeting to consider multiple committee actions. During the business meeting, the committee voted in favor of releasing 2 transcripts from 2019 hearings with the former Intelligence Community Inspector General, Michael Atkinson. The hearings were held to examine Atkinson's role in the alleged whistleblower complaint, which ultimately led to Democrats' first impeachment efforts against President Trump in December of 2019. One transcript would be released to the ODNI for classification review and then subsequently released to the public by the committee with the second unclassified transcript. The great deal of widespread speculation about the Atkinson classified hearing transcript is indicative of the American people's complete and warranted mistrust of the intelligence community, said Chairman Crawford. In far too many instances, the IC hides behind the veil of overclassification. Sometimes sunlight is the best infectant. As part of the committee's continued effort to balance the transparency the American people deserve and the need to protect sensitive national security information, we hope that the release of these transcripts allows the American people to make their own determinations. As chairman, I remain committed to ensuring this committee, where possible, is transparent as the IC works to rebuild trust with the American people. The transcripts will be posted on the committee's website once they undergo the standard yada, yada, yada. Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, is now going to walk these things through the process of this happening. So they've got to kind of basically redact what they can, and then essentially get the president to sign off on it, and we'll find out what that actually is. Emergencies requiring coal plants to stay open need not be imminent, the Department of Energy is telling the court. So we've got another fighting where the courts are basically going to say the government can't fire up energy plants. They're so trying to destroy this country. This green movement is stupid. We are making progress on, I think, moving that into the proper direction. As said, though, yeah, anyway, they're going to fight that one through. I'm sure the district, it's going to get appealed probably. I'm not sure if we have a good district court like that it's sitting in front of. I don't recognize the name. I don't know if they show the judge's name. Now that I think about it, let's do a quick. Oh, shucks, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. I'm trying to find. Let's see if the word judge. No judge in there. So I probably don't have an answer to that question just yet. Kevin O'Leary urges calm. Says he sees a generational opportunity in Trump's strategy. I do think a lot of things big time are changing. Check it out.
View and the long view here could be just 60 days. Remember, to affect the U.S. economy, you need oil. I'm talking about recession talk or hurting the economy or damaging small business. You need oil at above $93 for 3 months. We're only 1/3 into it. So everybody chillax and let this thing play out. There's a really big opportunity here, a huge one. And everybody gets the upside, including all our trading partners. We work this out. We're selling stuff to Saudi Arabia. We're selling it to the UAE. We're selling it to Asia. We're selling it to Japan. This is a huge opportunity. I just see it for what it is. It's history being made.
All right, Kevin, appreciate you being here. There's a lot to watch there, and the markets obviously are super sensitive to any bits of news we get from all of this, and that's why we're seeing all that volatility, which can be hard for.
Well, and they're almost burning out on it too, which is funny. I think many people are burning out on the constant just shock factor that's happening. Oil and gas lease sale in Alaska just happened. A chunk of money was generated, $163 million. I don't know how much that goes to. I don't know how much that goes to Alaska. Some of it probably. I think these lots or auctions are very similar to how gold is. I don't know if any of you guys have ever watched any like the gold stuff up in Alaska too. It's interesting how they lease the lots and how ownership works. And it's a very strange situation out there. Whatever the case is, Trump is drill baby drill is what he's working towards doing. IRS data shows average tax refund is up 10% this year. So a lot of people are actually adjusting their deductions, if you will, because they know they're going to get more of that money back. So if you're one of the people that would rather have the money yourself up front, maybe get a little bit bigger paycheck month to month, you might want to consider adding a dependent, because right now the way taxes are set up, the numbers aren't working out quite the same. So it depends. Some people like to have the savings, they suck at saving money. So you get a big check, for a couple $1,000 or more. I was like that. First I was very bad at saving. Eventually got better at it, but I still got a return. It was nice. I didn't mind it. But what's weird is all this bad news has come out. Trump and Iran, they're not actually doing anything. I want to see if it just like spikes here because, again, I've been watching it all day. Oil prices all day. It's the higher they've been right now, actually. This is probably the most important metric. Yeah, it was down a bunch earlier today, 87 down, all right? And so it has been an interesting little fun ride. So oil's the thing they keep trying to jack up because this is the thing that's going to hurt Trump, they feel like, and maybe cause him to drag this war on further. But it doesn't seem to be happening quite like that. Now, gold and silver, we're up. I mean, not skyrocketing. Well, silver's up a bit, but meh. Compared where they were just a couple weeks ago, we're sitting in better territory. Gold's up, $149. Silver's up almost $3 right now. I think crypto was up earlier. I assume it still is. We'll see what it kind of levels out to. Bitcoin was up. We'll see. It, I'm sure still is. XRP looks a little bit up. Everything is up right now, at least as far as the 6 majors that they follow on this site, Market Watch. But yeah, it looks like Bitcoin's still up. Yeah, peaked a little, but yeah, still up pretty good for the day. So again, a lot happening. I don't know if you've got an IRA or a 401k. This is a good time to consider getting out of that, or at least saving, protecting some of that money. We're about to go through some interesting times. The Fed's still got to be dealt with. So we've still got some fun stuff happening. There's likely still Taiwan and likely still Israel. We're probably going to back away from Iran in some sort of way, shape, or form. But as we'll talk about coming up, I don't know how Israel is going to be with stopping. We'll see. We'll see what happens. This is a very interesting time in history. It's not 100% in Trump's hands, but he does have a lot of influence and sway over other places. And if Israel steps out of line, this is going to be the end of that relationship. And that would be difficult because we could literally shut off to a large extent some of their equipment, which would be bad. Again, a lot of crazy is floating around out there. Just guarantee some of it. Right now, gold and silver is at a really, really good price. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of that. This is the time to make the move and protect some of your wealth. DRSlikesgold.com. 401k, IRA for sure, easy. 401k, there's some questions that need to be asked to decide whether or not you're going to be able to do this, okay? 100% IRAs, 401ks, again, but you can do it tax-free, penalty-free, okay, because it's all pre-tax money, so you need to make sure you maintain that. You're going to get up to 10% free silver, meaning, you have $200,000 you're moving over, you're going to get $20,000 of free silver. DRSlikesgold.com. Let my good friends at Goldco help you out. I love these guys. They've been so cool. Their customer service is bar none the best. And again, they have many suppliers, and we're going through some tricky times there too, right? And if you can call within 20 minutes to help them out, help you out, right? Just find out if you got a qualified plan. There's a half-ounce Ronald Reagan coin they're going to send you. It's 9.999% pure silver. It's treasury minted. It's a real coin from that standpoint, but it's worth more because of collector value. It's a beautiful coin. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that system while you can because they don't want you to have money. They don't want you to have anything. And we're seeing them try to slash and burn a little bit on their way out. I don't know how much they're going to be able to do. We'll find out. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins made a cool announcement. I think they talk about it here. Check it out.
It means a standard. An American standard.
It means it was born here, raised here, processed here.
It means the healthiest food for a healthier future.
If you're going to use the American flag,
it better be American.
From start to finish, supporting American farmers, ranchers,
and producers.
This is what America looks like.
Built on grit, backed by the people who live it.
From generation
to generation.
There's no faking the standard because when you see this label,
it means exactly what it says.
Born here, raised here,
processed here,
from the land of the free.
Product of USA.
Do Asian cows have different eyes? I don't know. Just made me think. Oh, how many of you just got mad at me? Come on. That was borderline funny, though. That was borderline funny. Ozempic is apparently slimming down America so much right now. It's lightning truckers' loads. They're saying there's been some smaller, I guess we're eating less. It's kind of, they still pack the truck to fame. It's not changing that. But the overall shipping volume has seemed to have gone down. They're saying, I think, 3%. Yeah, 3% drop in total caloric food demand. That's an interesting way to look at demand, but that's awesome. That means also, by the way, feel great. You should OTFspecial.com for the feel great stuff. This is another example of that. people are eating less. Like I did twice today, and it just, my stomach was growling a little for the second one. I'm like, and just, I'll tell you what, it helps me fast. I like to fast sometimes, especially a little further into the day before I eat. And I was noticing this morning when I was like, before my shower, I was just like, sometimes you look in the mirror and you're like, hey, Dan, you look all right, So that was one of those moments. I was proud of myself. I'm like, okay, it's making a difference. And the gym and everything. Like, I got a little thing. I have protein powder I've been doing. Oh, man. So I got a bag of it. It is so good. It's only 4 ingredients. Again, you guys know me about my weirdness with that. So again, not trying to get off the track, but people are eating less, right? 3% drop in total calories. That's pretty cool. I don't think a bunch of us have died. I think we're actually literally either eating healthier or the SNAP benefits have really made a difference. That's possible. That's entirely possible. Colombia's military, they had a plane crash. That one we talked about, it killed 66. I sort of mentioned it yesterday, and I feel like I didn't give the proper number. I think I said around 50, 60, but yeah, it's not good. Not good at all. Sorry about that. All the people that are no longer with us. Volkswagen's going to convert a German auto plant into an Iron Dome war factory. I keep saying something major's coming over the next few years. In fact, there's a speculation. I'll tie it in. And it's not a bad one. I don't know. At first, I was totally poo-pooing it, but that's often how some of the stuff that kind of catches me, it works at first. But we got a few years. Something's up. Something's up, folks, and we're preparing for it. This Iron Dome is a lot more than we're being led to believe. That's for sure. And I don't think it's to protect ourselves from each other so much as they're concerned to protect ourselves from something outside of here. Or maybe something that's like Antarctica or something crazy. I don't know. Some weird like Greenland. I don't know. So I think it's outside of here is my guess. Whatever the case is, Volkswagen's now going to be involved in this. That's craziness. Italy's justice minister just resigned over mafia connections. Whoops. So they're cleaning out the deep state from Italy as well. It's happening. It's happening, guys. Oops. Iran. Pete Hegseth is pretty cool. He's talking about the war and how we're handling things and what his version of negotiations are versus Trump's. It was kind of cool because he says it right in front of Trump.
History has a modern military. Iran had a modern military, a modern navy, a modern air force, modern air defenses, leadership, massive bunker. Never has a modern military been so rapidly and historically obliterated, defeated from day one with overwhelming firepower. The air campaign that we've conducted, that Israel's conducted alongside us, was one for the history books, truly. And it's because we have a president of the United States that when he sends his warfighters out to fight, he unties their hands to actually go out and close with and destroy the enemy as viciously as possible from moment one. And that's why we see ourselves as part of this negotiation as well. We negotiate with bombs. You have a choice as we loiter over the top of Tehran, as the president talked about your future. The president has made it clear that you will not have a nuclear weapon. The War Department agrees. Our job is to ensure that. And so we're keeping our hand on that throttle as long as hard as is necessary to ensure the interests of the United States of America are achieved on that battlefield. This is not Iraq and Afghanistan. This is not a president who's interested in vague end states. He's been very clear with us about what we need to accomplish, creating the conditions for them never to have a nuclear capability, and that's exactly what we're doing in historic fashion.
Almost 100% sure, because Trump did he raised his eyebrows, both of them, when he said, as long as hard as necessary. Trump is, he's got to be a little perverted because he's into sex. I mean, it's one of anyways, he's got to be because he's been dating hotties all his life. There's no way you're not banging the hotties. Come on, it's silly. Come on. Let's not be crazy. But yeah, when he said that, I would have. And you guarantee when he was walking out and he'll pat him on the back, as long and as hard. What was that? And I'm sure Access me like, yeah, after I said it, I knew. Yeah, huh? That was funny. So yeah, they'll get a chuckle out of that one, but still good stuff. Here's Trump. Oh, this is funny about trust in Iran and whether he trusts the individual even asking him the question, which he doesn't, of course.
We can say, Jason, this is regime change, right?
What makes you trust him?
I don't trust anybody. I don't trust you. I mean, that's only because I know you. But if I didn't know you, I'd probably have more trust. But I don't trust anyone.
Why bother
Why do
talking
you say that? Why do you say what makes you trust? Do you think I trust them? I don't trust them.
Then why bother talking to them?
Because they're going to make a deal. They got to make a deal,
people. Can't keep doing things the way they've been. Iran is rejecting, they're saying, this is, I don't know if this is legit, but it could be leaked from Iran now, whether that matters at all. First off, who's leaking this? A lot of it's coming from sources that aren't necessarily in charge, that are still trying to act like they're in charge. Trump is claiming he's talking to whoever's in charge. These people who probably aren't in charge are trying to claim they're in charge, which I think is the IRGC. And they're not in charge anymore. Trump knows that, and the people that he's talking to have somehow proven that, and we'll get there. So Iran, IRGC, who's not actually in charge, they've rejected Trump's proposal, and they've said the only way this will happen, 5 issues that we as Iranians must have. It says a complete halt to aggression and assassinations by the enemy. The establishment of concrete mechanisms to ensure that this war is not reimposed on the Islamic Republic. Guaranteed and clearly defined payment of war damages and reparations. Yeah, that's not happening. The conclusion of the war across all fronts and for all resistance groups involved throughout the region. Not happening. International recognition and guarantees regarding Iran's sovereignty right to exercise authority over the Straits of Hormuz. Not happening. This is all bullshit. All of it. So anybody that's saying, oh, they're rejecting Trump's talks, no, they're not. That's not who Trump's talking to. Also, this report is bugging the shit out of me because I don't think it's true either. First off, we did just send an amphibious assault group that was out by Japan to the Middle East, okay, to the area. That amphibious ship has 5,000 Marines on it. Okay. Now, there's also a story floating around right now that we're sending in our airborne. We're not going to parachute in a bunch of fucking people. Now, granted, they probably repel and do that shit too, but no. It's coming from the Wall Street Journal. Everyone is referencing this story. I saw this story everywhere. Wall Street Journal reported Tuesday citing 2 U.S. officials. A written deployment order is expected shortly, so it hasn't even happened yet. And there's apparently a division's headquarters element responsible for planning and coordination. The odds of putting boots on the ground, Trump's already said no, we're not putting boots on the ground. We don't need to. If we have to control Carg Island, there's ways we might be able to do something. Maybe that's where the airborne might be considered, but I don't think this is a legit story. This drums up a lot of people that start talking about that we're putting boots on the ground, which makes this an extended war, right? It's what they're trying to push. It's the Wall Street Journal. We don't trust them. It's alleged people citing 2 U.S. officials. Oh, okay, not 1, but 2. Why not 3? Where's the magic number? 5. 7 people said. 4 out of 5 dentists. That was strong back in the day. Iran suspects Trump's 15-point peace plan is another ruse. Claims U.S. is negotiating with itself. This is what, again, the IRGC is saying. This is the nonsense that CNN and everyone else is pushing. Here's Trump talking about what he thinks is actually going on, in case you were wondering.
Because they're going to make a deal. They're going to make a deal. They did something yesterday that was amazing, actually. They gave us a present, and the present arrived today. And it was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is, but it was a very significant prize. And they gave it to us, and they said they were going to give it. So that meant one thing to me: we're dealing with the right people.
Is that nuclear related?
No, it wasn't nuclear related. It was oil and gas related, and it was a very nice thing they did. But what it showed me is that we're dealing with the right people. Because, you don't know, because the leadership was killed, all gone. Khomeini, all gone, as the expression goes, the past supreme leader. And then the new supreme leader was racked up, at a minimum racked up pretty good, and everyone else was gone. And then many of the people in the third tier.
Racked up. It's an interesting way to put it. But yeah, no, we're supposedly talking to the proper people. The people that are claiming otherwise are, well, the deep state, who still control the media, who still control a lot of things, but we're taking that away. This Warner Brothers sale is a big part of that. Not being made really enough of a big deal, and it's hard to. There's so many things that are big deals that are happening all over the place. It's like, I mean, people could just do shows on individual components of this. And this is daily that we're talking about these different things, right? Daily, there's like, 100 hours plus of stuff that I could do off of each day. Iran apparently has laid a small number of naval mines, not a whole lot. They're probably not terribly difficult to find. Pain in the ass to deal with if they're literally in the shipping lanes, and this is kind of what they're saying, because there's probably a frequency transponder that goes with these or something where they're telling ships, all right, here's the thing, here's where they're at or something, you know, maybe they cite exactly where they're at, give them GPS coordinates, something. But yeah, I mean, this is supposedly happening. There's a few of them. So a few of them being there, everyone's running with this, there's a bunch of mines in the Gulf. No, when there's like a few, like a dozen. That's like, believe me, you need a lot of them to cause problems. Now, these are pretty legit mines, to my understanding. They're not just crap mines. They do look a little funny, but I don't really know they're not the ones that float on the surface like the olden days, right, with spikes sticking out of them, right? They float underneath the surface, and they have the ability to release and have a thing that actually can kind of, almost like a little mini torpedo, if you will. They got like a minimum distance, but yeah, they're kind of trippy. So the IRGC Navy, apparently, we're hearing, again, source is tough, but apparently the IRGC Navy turns back a container ship seeking Hormuz passage as Iran starts charging $2 million tolls. So they got somebody that seems to be well outside of the strait, and they're somehow able to stop ships at sea? I have a hard time with the story. First off, it's written in Arabic, so yeah, pretty strong chance it's not true. Because this would get smoked. I mean, we have submarines out here. There's no way. There's no way they're doing that. Certain oil tankers are apparently making it safely through the Strait of Hormuz. Many are saying they're paying money. Well, there's a lot of factors coming into play, which, as far as Trump's concerned, is like, it's an extra $1 a barrel is what they're charging. It's really not that much. So, okay. Charge it at the pump. No big deal. Pass that along. That's cool. You're getting through. Pay the money. That's probably what Trump is saying. We're not going to go in there and risk any sort of damage to any of our ships just to save a bunch of shit that's not even ours. Pay the extra money. Charge the people the extra money on the other side. Don't worry about it. So that's what they're charging, $1 a barrel. It's not that much. Yeah, you might be carrying a million barrels of oil. Okay, so it cost you $1 million. It's not that much. Israel seeks to disrupt Russian-Iranian arms transfer route. This is up in the Caspian Sea, which is kind of a trip if you because it's not really part of the Persian Gulf. It's not part of the Strait of Hormuz that Chuck Norris kicked the crap out of. But it's actually more a part of above Iran, up here, Caspian Sea. So Russia, Kazakhstan, Turkey, well, Turkmenistan, sorry. Azerbaijan, all of these people have waterways, and it comes right into Iran, and Tehran's not far from this. And this is where a lot of weapons, apparently, and oil and other things were passing along. Well, now Israel is attacking these areas too, which is smart, because this is the place where Russia's been passing weapons and other stuff, and they've kind of put a stop to that by blowing up Iranian ships. Lebanon ejects Iranian ambassador as Israel digs into the fight Hezbollah. So it sounds like Lebanon's like, no, we don't like these people. Get them out. And Israel's like, oh, we will do this. So we've got the killing that Israel's doing, because politically, by the way, it doesn't hurt them nearly as much as it does Trump. Trump needs to be able to back away from this thing, and he knows it. And he's got a limit with Congress for 1 month, I believe, because otherwise he has to declare war, and we're not at war. It's a military thing, right? So he's got to be able to back away from this, or at least stop it in some sort of formal way. And then if he has to restart it again later, I got another 30 days. We'll just start bringing stuff back, and then maybe 7 days from now we start it again. And we can keep our ships wherever we want. But the Reagan's supposedly coming back, the whole group coming with that. So hopefully those guys get a little bit of short time. But yeah, we need to give our troops a chance to recoup, and then probably going to need them again. Russia launched a giant one-day strike, biggest ever, they're saying. Almost 1,000, well, possibly with everything, a little over 1,000, but apparently about 1,000 drones, warheads, everything else at one time. Ukraine's like, we shot down everything but a few, which is fine. I mean, they get through. We've seen that on all over the place. But yeah, that said, Russia managed to get some through. Here's one kind of coming in. These drones are they're just little propeller planes. They have just a crazy noise when they come in, but it's a little crazy as it blows up this building, and you can see the bits and pieces blowing up. Like, you're going to definitely need a new roof. There's no way around that, right? There's no painting your way out of that one. So, yeah, the attacks are getting big. They apparently hit a lot of the... that was the Ukraine, actually. I think they attacked the eastern stuff. Where is this? Onslaught was no... Yeah, this... I forget which one did the attack. One of them... There it is. Yeah, it was Russia. So they were trying to help free a lot of the eastern sides of Ukraine, the parts that they plan on keeping in control of. So that's where a lot of these attacks went. Lviv, Zaporozhye, Dnipro, a few others that I probably can't pronounce. So yeah, that said, this is just weird, I guess. I don't know. Scientists at CERN transport antimatter for the I don't know why I'm saying that like a weirdo. Antimatter for the first time ever since 92. Ever. Sorry. Okay. Let me start this over. Scientists at CERN transport antimatter for the first time ever. Got 92 antiprotons. Some sort of magnetic thing. I assume they could keep them together because they're antiprotons, so they can stay together because they're all antimatter. So antimatter can be with antimatter and be totally cool. If antimatter gets with regular matter. I feel like this is some crazy bits of stuff from the other, from like evil, from the hell or something. You know what I mean? Like that kind of concept. Like, I feel like this is like some of the shit that's been pulled through from that other verse, the one they were trying to bring into here. And they've got them, and if they touch matter in any way, it just annihilates and explodes. So anything from that side is super dangerous. And I don't know to what level the energy released is. It's probably quite large, they say. But it took a 30-minute journey. It's kind of crazy. Another weird thing, Melania Trump is walking with a robot to do this AI-powered, America-made humanoid hosting 45 nations for this 2-day global coalition summit. I have no idea why they're doing this at all. This is weird. I guess you get the point. Like, I don't know how much of that we can actually... Why? What is that? Is this even real? Like, this could be fake. I mean, it's more than 12 seconds, so it's hard to say. That's weird as hell. What's the point of that? Apparently, X's head of product, Nikita Beer, has just announced revenue sharing incentives are set to change. They're going to be reducing the number of accounts pretending to be Americans and accounts pandering to foreign audiences. Those are going to get reduced. So anybody playing to other audiences and all that nonsense, they're all going to get hashed back, which I kind of like that. It's kind of America first in the advertising realm too. So very, very cool. Very cool. NVIDIA CEO boasts the new AI feature they've got. They think they've achieved AGI. And of course, what's AGI? It's apparently artificial general intelligence. They're trying to get into the game. NVIDIA's got a lot to say. They got all the chips, so if they can come up with it, that would be a pretty smart move on their part because they can just buy chips from themselves at a reduced price. So that capital expense would probably be cheaper. Alan Richardson, I kind of left this out. One, this is the guy that plays Reacher. and he's supposedly a Trump hater, I guess, which bums me out a little bit. I told you all the story before, and if you haven't heard it, it's kind of funny. But I went to Catalina, and there was a dude that I swear to God looked just like him. He's just set me. He was tall as hell, just like him, buff, like just like. I mean, he looked. Well, he looked mostly like him. There's a picture in him. This wasn't this buff by any stretch. This guy's been working at hard Richardson as. I also didn't realize he had all those tattoos, so I don't know if they have to cover those up or how they do that, because that looks weird, knowing that he's got all these crazy tattoos. That seems stupid if you're going to act. Whatever. That all said, I don't know if you guys know the story that he supposedly was beating up his neighbor. And the way the story was being played is his neighbor was this guy, it wasn't his fault. And then all of a sudden, Reacher just starts beating him up in front of Reacher's kids, in front of his own children. He beats up this dude. But what happened after the investigation, they didn't charge Reacher at all. They said he was actually acting in self-defense. This dude actually caused a problem, caused Reacher to actually have to put his bike down, and was confronting Reacher and pushed him twice. At which time Reacher beat his ass. And there is a video of Reacher beating his ass. I mean, he punched him a few times. Guy got, it wasn't that bad. He hit him probably, I suppose he kicked him. I don't remember seeing the kicking, but maybe he kicked him. But he'd go down, and Reacher's obviously trained, so he knows how to hit, because he has to do it in the movies anyway. So, yeah, he punched the shit out of this dude a few times. And the dude survived. He got busted up. It was his fault. Yeah, the dude was not this buff but he was friggin' buff as hell. So anyway, I joked because I turned to my friends afterwards, and because the dude he had his daughter there or whatever, but he was hanging with a couple other fellas, and I turned to my friend. I'm like, I hope to God I didn't just flirt with a dude that I didn't mean to flirt with. I'm like, this is not going to go well. Be someone's bitch in jail. I don't know if you guys have seen that. That's a good episode, too. Reacher when he hops down from the bunk in the jail. I love that show. Love that show. Even though he hates Trump, it still sucks. Everyone's talking about the shooting stars that have been happening. Craziness.
Including some notification of a sonic boom of a meteor in the past. We have the third meteor sighting in the past 6 days, this time in California. According to the American Meteor Society, they received over 200 notifications, including some notification of a sonic boom of a meteor in the past 12 hours or so, according to the American.
So that can mean a lot of things, and certainly oftentimes can mean something has gravitationally pushed something into our direction. It could also mean that there's something larger coming. They're trying to spin it a little bit, I think, with some other stuff. People are panicking. In fact, Laguna Beach, California, they were testing their emergency alarm system, and there was two idiots that were there that don't know anything about how it works, and we're just like, I can't even see the speakers. I don't even know. They're just idiots, and they're gonna probably go viral, freaking people out. They've been seeing comets and you hit the ground, and they've got this, and so they're just putting all these stupid things together and probably freaking people out. All that said, I don't know. I always pay attention. I've seen a lot of shooting stars. I've definitely seen meteors a few times in my life, more than 3 or 4, around there anyway. I saw one that streaked across the sky. That was incredible, and it was very significant when it happened. And yeah, it was just a beautiful moment in life, frankly. So we've got a lot of change happening, and they frequently do say the sky. A lot of signs are going to happen in the skies. I think very much reality, what you experience, what you see. I used to spend a lot of time, especially when I was younger, I spent a lot of time looking at the sky. I've seen a lot of shooting stars. I've seen a lot of satellites. I've seen a good number of meteors. Not a lot, but a good number. I've seen stuff like this. It's one of those things where there's people who will be like, they don't exist. It's like, I can guarantee you I've seen them. So in my life, they exist. My world, maybe not yours. Mine, they do. And those are very, very interesting things. And also, I always wonder about the flat earth thing. Like, how do you guys get shooting stars? How does meteors work and everything? Like something bounce off that we shot up, maybe? I don't know. I'm just curious what stuff they come up with. I have no idea. All that said, we got a lot happening. Things are changing quickly. We need to understand the bigger picture, and we need to be able to step back from it a little bit and to assess it from that level, because otherwise we're going to have a hard time with all this. So much going on. You guys are the rock stars. You're rippling everything out. I'm super proud of you guys. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.